Sukshma Shariram Kim Apanchīkrita Pancha Mahabhūtai Kritam Satkarma Janyam Sukha Dukkhādi Bhoga Sadhanam Pancha Jnanendriyāni Pancha Karmendriyāni Pancha Pranadayaha Manaschaikam Buddhischaika Evam Saptadasha Kalabhissaha Yat Tishtati Tat Sukshma Shariram. So Sukshma means subtle, not tangible, not visible, which cannot be handled. That is the meaning of Sukshmam, and it is a constituent part of the body. From a standpoint, we separate it and call it as subtle body. And why it is subtle? Because the thing that which is made of remaining the same, called the 5 elements, it is prior to undergoing compounding, grossification. So apanchīkrita. So Sukshma Tattva means without being admixture of anything, by itself in its rudimentary form is called apanchīkrita. When it undergoes compounding, it's called panchīkritam, loses its rudimentary form, becomes grossified. That means this what we are talking, Sukshma Shariram, is born of the elements itself before they undergo the process of grossification. Made up of that. Again, it has got the same cause, Satkarma. Special cause is Karma. In that, the human Sukshma Shariram is what is being talked. It is born of particularly again Satkarma. As this body has got Satkarma, even Sukshma Shariram has got Satkarma. Everything common there itself. Now what is this particular thing itself? Sukha Dukkhādi Bhoga Sadhanam. Sadhanam means instrument. While the gross body is the counter, the instrument behind the counter is what is called as sadhanam, instrument. For what? To gain the experience of sukham and dukkham. That is why when does people have sukha dukkham? As long as the body and the life is there. As long as there is no life, that is in the dead body, there is no experience of pain or thing. And again, when you give anesthesia, what happens is this connection between the body and the mind is temporarily you are disconnecting it. That's a type of sleep. That's why in the sleep also many things we don't know. It's a temporary type of sleep. That's why you regain consciousness, the pain you start feeling. But the moment you are not, you don't. That's why in the sleep, even a person having lot of pain, they don't have. That's why you give lot of particularly that sedation and other things. Why you sedate people? Because during the time they don't have the pain feeling. So when you are sleeping, there is a disconnection between this body feeling and the mind. So that is what is called the Sukshma Shariram is such a thing that it can connect, it can disconnect. And what is the method of connection is called thought. By thought we connect, by thought only we disconnect. That's why as long as thought process is there, there is a feeling, there is a sensation, there is expression, everything is there. Where the thought is absent, for that minute it is not. That's a person in anesthesia doesn't have the thought process of thinking. That's why even if you will local anesthesia, the person doesn't feel the pain. So though maybe knowing my body is operated, but doesn't feel the pain, so there is no feeling that I am getting pain. that is not there. That means the Sukshma Shariram is a connecting link between what? Between the gross body. The gross body, otherwise you would say, gets enlivened because of the presence of Sukshma Shariram. Very important thing. So every body, whichever body that is, the anatomy that is there, the life that is there in that, because of the presence of this Sukshma Shariram. But we must understand, the Sukshma Shariram itself is made up of matter called this Prakriti, Pancha Mahabhudam, which is called elements. Elements are matter. They are inert. But then how can they give life? One matter cannot make another matter living. That means in that particular matter there is something special. And that is what is called, there only is manifest the you called the awareness consciousness. Hence Sukshma Shariram is a conductor of awareness consciousness, which you call as life. What we call as life, there is a lot of thinking that this breath is life. Understand it, sir. Generally, as long as breathing is there, we call life is there. When the breathing goes, there is no life. That is only relatively. But the absolute life that is there is called the consciousness, awareness, called the what is meant by the you. We saw Satchid Ananda Swarupam Atma. Atma is the life factor for everything. Any type of thing, the life-giving principle is that Atma. That means because of your presence, this body is alive. That's why when you are absent, the body becomes no more living. But this Atma is like an electricity or like fire. Though electricity and fire is existent anywhere, but if you want to see it in a manifested form, they require a conducting medium, a conducting media. That's why you have got good conductors and bad conductors of fire or electricity. So if you want to conduct fire in a particular manner, you require the proper media through which only fire can be conducted, glowing fire. In the water there is fire, but you don't have glowing fire. There is heat principle there, which is really nothing but fire itself. So water is a conductor of heat, but you cannot say it is a conductor of totally fire. But if you want fire as fire, you should have proper conducting medium. That is all the different types of fuel, charcoal or coal, firewood is there, or you have got the gas, all the petrol, kerosene, so many things. They are all what? They are all called good conductors of particular fire. But there are other things like stone and all, they can conduct heat, but they cannot conduct the thing called fire. So we must clearly understand that. Like that electricity, you know. When you want electricity to be conducted, there are good conductors of electricity, there are bad conductors of electricity, like wood, like rubber and other things. They are not conductors of electricity. That's the insulation all over. Though electric current is there, you touch it, you don't get it. Why? Because they are not conductors of the electric current. Similarly, the Atma, if at all it has to be conducted in the form of life principle, it requires a proper conducting media. And that media which conducts this life called Atma is called Sukshma Shariram. That's why I gave the example of last time the bulb. Any type of bulb. The bulb has an outer casing called the glass. Even inside you have got the cathodes and particular so many things there. But in all of them there is one thing, there are glass. But what is it that conducts the electricity to bring it into light is called the wire, tungsten wire you call, molecules you call it. Even this is wire, that is also wire. In this maximum it will glow and red hot it will become, but it never gives you light. That's why if at all you want to make it glow, that's why according to them they convert it into subtle element, subtle wire. That is what is called molecules inside the filament. So as long as filament is there, the bulb glows. But the wire doesn't glow by itself, it requires another thing to glow, that is called electricity. Though the glowing is done at the level of the bulb, because of what it glows is electricity. That's why everywhere it doesn't glow. That's why electricity is all over the wire. Outside you are seeing all the poles are going. Everywhere there is electricity. But electricity you don't see. So if at all you want to see the electricity, there should be proper conducting medias where it can manifest. One glowing is that. But in the fan, it is not glowing electricity. It is a power that is making it to move. There also electricity is there. That is also electricity. So here the method is, it is converted into light. There it is converted into energy called motion. Motion energy. Like that you find different gadgets have got different. Here electricity converted into sound. It converts everything into sound. So varieties of plates, varieties of things are there. But behind all type of equipments that are there, all electrical thing, the common factor which enlivens, make them to be living, is the common electricity. Though equipments differ, their functions differ, they are all differing, big and small, powerful, less powerful, more powerful, let it be. But the common factor behind all of them is one energy called electricity. Same thing cars. All are cars, different sizes, different powers, different capacities, maybe. But all of them need one common factor energy, and that energy is called petrol. If it is diesel vehicles, all are vehicles, big and small, varieties of names you give them, but they all have got common one energy called diesel. Understand it? Like that. Any type of living organism you see in the world, human, animals, there are birds, there are creatures, varieties of them. And you see each one's body is different, things are different, functioning different. Though they are all different, every one of them got their own Sukshma Sarira. Independent. That's why they function differently. That's why all cars are cars. But what makes each performance different? The engine. Every watch is a watch, but all watches are different function. Why? Because again the equipment inside. All are tape recorders, but they function differently. Why? Different type of equipments. How they are manufactured, how they are kept. In this manner, everywhere you go, there is a gross part of it, and there is an inner part which you can call it as subtle, means you don't directly see. When you open, you see. But unfortunately here, even if you open, you cannot see. Thus, any body you find, if it is living, there is inside the gross aspect, this subtle body remains, which is the factor which makes the gross body to be enliving, acting, giving experience, to say they are a living organism. Let it be anything. All of them. There be the Sukshma Shariram. And in the Sukshma Shariram only gives different. That's why a dog has got a special Sukshma Shariram. Because of that only it has got the special capacity of smelling. A bird has got different thing. That's why it is like that. And each bird is different. Everything is different. All are dogs. But you see each dog, the shape is different. And even their functions are sometimes different. They are not all the same. Like that you see every creature, anything you go. Similarly, all our differences also, we are all human beings. But the IQ capacity you say, that capacity you say, psychological capacity, they are all centered where? This is the factor called Sukshma Shariram. This is what is creating these varieties you see in the world. All are human. That is why we say in the Lord, human manufacture also, any type of equipments, they are all, let's say different companies manufacture. All are manufacturing. Then why you want to go for a foreign equipment? Though Indian equipments are available, foreign equipment performance is better. And the performance accounts, what accounts for the performance? The inside aspect called that engine or whatever the instrument that is there. Similarly, in each one the performance is because of what? Because of that special equipment. This is what is called Sukshma Shariram. Now this Sukshma Shariram accounts for this life. I don't know whether you people have read about some, I would say about 5 or 6 years back. Even today the magazine is coming called Science Today. You all must be seeing that. In the Science Today, there was a box particular thing. In that there was an information, news item come from America, they had published there. And I accidentally happened to read it. In somebody's house I was sitting. And just going through that, suddenly it caught my eyes. And what is that? In America, a certain group of doctors like you all, who are doing research, and they decided we would like to catch this life. When life is departing from a human being, let us catch it and see what it is. And they got one particularly person who agreed for the test, because doctors knew that fellow is going to die. And they asked him whether he will oblige. That person agreed. What they did, they made a glass case, very hard, and put this fellow inside, connected oxygen and all, but made it airtight, everything completely. Nothing to escape. So hard also, thick also. And everybody was observing for this life to escape. How it will escape? We will catch it inside the thing and see what it is. But they have written there, when the life particularly left the body, the glass case was broken and this escaped. They could not catch it. So this is, I don't know, it is a very old science magazine. Whether you people read, I don't know. Whether you have gone through that, I don't know. And a gentleman here who was in Pune, I don't know, one Mr. Sukhatme, whether you all know him, I don't know. One Mr. Sukhatme. He was particularly associated with this particular MAC and all particularly. He was associated there. So he was also associated with the FAO and all particularly. And he was in America. At that time he says, I was present when this took place there. He told me. So that means what? This is Sukshma. That is why even a person dying, you don't see how the life escapes. Nobody sees the life going. You only can say life departed. But how it went, what is its nature, what is the color, what it is, we don't know. And that where this life is manifested, the manifesting media, is what is called Sukshma Shariram. That is why now we must know, when a body is born, you all know last time also I said that, if the Sukshma Shariram is there, in the child there is life, you say a baby is born. But you know, stillborn. The outside case is there, but what is absent? The Sukshma Shariram is not there. That's why maybe up to a certain time the child has got life. The mother feels, everything is there. You also test, you feel that child is living. On a particular time you find it has disappeared. Why it happens? Again karma. According to our Shastra, that particular jiva had only the karma to have garbha vasa. That is also one karma. That you come into birth means sometimes you come out, sometimes you have got karma only to be in the garbha. And that lady who is carrying, she also has to undergo all these things, her karma. This is how the both go together. Hence, when there is life only, you say birth and you register. And minus that, you don't register a birth. That means when you can say there is a birth, when this life is present. And who accounts for the life? He is called the Sukshma Shariram. And when a person dies, what makes the person death to come? This Sukshma Shariram departs. That is the thing which comes and which goes. You can call it comes or manifest. That's why I told you. How does it enter? That's why the entry is here. Have you seen when the birth is there? You all know. This portion is very, very particularly tender. According to our Shastra, this is the place through which the Sukshma Shariram is supposed to enter. I don't know medically what for this is particular thing, what is the thing, I don't know. According to our Shastra, this is the place in the Upanishad it is said there, the life entered through this, originally. So that is the entry point according to our Shastra. Medical science may differ. So I don't want to say anything. What is in the Shastra only I am telling. You can counter me and say, no, that is not so and all those things. But anyway, but then particularly there is a time when the life manifests in the body. That is the time when they say it is entered. So whether at that time the head has developed and what has happened, I don't know. But in the Shastra, in our Shastra there is an Upanishad. You say embryology. In our Shastra there is an embryology Upanishad. The embryology Upanishad is called Garbha Upanishad. And there say particularly conception onwards how the development takes, what are the things happen, which day what happens, like that they have mentioned so many things. All those things are written and kept. So all these things are there. Whether they tally with present modern, particularly medical science, I don't know. But then it is all there in our Shastra. It is all there. So this is how the Sukshma Shariram has got a place with reference to the Sthula Shariram. So in short, what is Sukshma Shariram? That which is instrumental in making this Sthula Shariram to be active, alive, to have life pulsating in that. Its presence gives the life and its absence gives the absence of life. So the presence with the Sukshma Shariram, living birth, absence, departure of Sukshma Shariram is what is called death. And who goes transmigration, you say? Who travels? That's why you say, may the soul rest in peace. Who is this soul? It is this fellow only. Which generally is called as astral body. Another word they use. And this only goes, and the next birth, this only comes in a remodified manner, like your shoes given to Bata for reconditioning. When you give your shoe for reconditioning to Bata, what happens? You find certain portions are removed, but certain portions remain the same. But it looks new. Somebody must, did you buy a new shoe? No, I got it reconditioned only. So, but sometimes when the recondition also looks absolutely new. Similarly, in our Shastra also, when the Sukshma Shariram goes, many things are completely removed. And some fine thing, particular thing comes, that is what generally we call karma, otherwise people call samskara. Samskara means certain tendencies you have, which are very strong. And those tendencies and impressions only come back. That's why some cases you find lately, even particularly that which is called BBC and all have particularly were telecasting for some time. Certain people remembering the old life, past life. All you find these days, child prodigies who remember so many things even without going to school, without being taught, like music, certain art, certain language, you find all these rare cases. That is a possibility where there, while particularly certain things were not taken care of, they all come back. Otherwise, you know what will happen? If last Janma, if you are a gold medalist in a language, next Janma you will not go to school. Straight away you will start ordering the mother straight away in the mouth, in the thing itself. So the Bhagavan doesn't do that, so that's why all those things are removed. That's why even the baby is born, straight away it doesn't have, it takes a time to all those things to develop and come out. It takes time. So that means potentially they are available. That is why even their taste, their habits, their preferences, their aptitudes, they are inherent in them. Gradually they start expressing. These are all the things you all know better than me. But I am only talking from the standpoint of what is the topic here called Sukshma Shariram. These are all embedded where? In this place called Sukshma Shariram. Even if you operate this body, you will not be able to locate Sukshma Shariram. Brain is not Sukshma Shariram. Understand itself. Because brain is a tangible gross part. It is not particularly Sukshma. Because when you open also, brain is a thing which you can see. So you cannot categorize it as particularly that. Though in medical science, brain death is death and all you say. That's a brain death, particularly brain cells damage, degeneration, so many things are there. We know particularly. All of them, whatever you can objectify and tangibly see, they cannot fall under the category called Sukshma Shariram. Otherwise what will happen? A person dies, the brain is still there. So you cannot say Sukshma Shariram departed. So that is why we cannot call brain as particularly. That is why, can you locate the mind? Recently, I don't know, last about 2 months back, there was a Time magazine where there is a big article from America where they had written 2 doctors, one Indian doctor plus 2 American doctors have talked about brain, consciousness, so many things. I don't know whether any one of you read it. There are a lot of things they have written about it. Which side of the brain there is mind, which things, what happened, that happened, this happens, so many things there were there particularly. I don't know whether it is July 31st or somewhere August 31st or some issue. If you can even today lay hand in any of the old issues of Time magazine, go through in this particularly about 6 months, for the past 6 months, in one of them there is a big article with the diagrams and so many things. You people will be able to understand more because lot of medical terms are there, technical terms are there, they have put diagrams and so many things, all the things are said there. So somebody came to me, asked questions, somebody saw this, took a Xerox of that and came to me asking questions. How does it tally with our Shastra? So that's why somebody had come to me, that's why I know, otherwise I don't read Time magazine. How did I come to know? Because that person brought the whole thing to me. So I went through all of them. So that's why I am telling. So if you are keen in seeing that, you may check up the past issues of Time magazine anywhere available. Check up there, you may find that particularly. The brain photograph, so many things are put there, so many diagrams are there, lot of things are put there. So all sorts of things they talk about this, particularly how the brain, where the mind, what happens, where this happens, where that happens, so many things they have gone with. Their theory and our theory don't meet. So that is the problem there only, particularly. Otherwise, there are many things they have said. So that could be possible. That's our vision is totally different, our approach is totally different. That's all. They are seeing from the clinical standpoint. Our thing is totally different. That only you should understand clearly. Hence, Sukshma Shariram is not a tangible part of the body, but its presence can be always felt. Why? As long as it is there, there is life. The absence of it makes this body to be not living. Not only living, its presence only shows all activities, including heart is throbbing, your liver is functioning, all the particular kidneys are functioning, lungs are functioning. For all of them, the presence of this Sukshma Shariram is very important. That's why, minus that, you find everything stops, come to a standstill. And the Sukshma Shariram is inert again. Don't take Sukshma Shariram is the factor. The life is not Sukshma Shariram. Sukshma Shariram is the medium, the locus where the life is manifest, and the life principle is the Chaitanyam called Atma Surupam. In reality it is you. That is why our Shastra want to say you don't die. That's why nobody dies. From a standpoint, because everybody is considered to be the body, people say the person died. But the person did not die. If the person died, then क्यों चले गया बोलता है? So death is total destruction. The person has not gone. खाली चले गया. किधर? दूसरा घर के लिए. Like when you vacate a house and go. Tenement खाली किया. घर खाली किया बोलता है कि नहीं? And sometimes गाली करता है घर. किधर गया? You may leave address in the neighbor. Is it or not? Some people say किधर गया? पत्ता छोड़ के गया नहीं. ऐसा निकल गया. In our case, nobody tells you where you are going, but they themselves don't know. If a dying man, आप किधर जाने वाला है? किसको मालूम है किधर जाने वाला है? That is why nobody gives you also the address where I am going. It is not. But you know somebody has left. That means this tenement becomes vacated. The vacating of this tenement is what is called death. That's why it was called Bhoga Ayatanam. Ayatanam means a tenement. You come to reside, after some time transaction is over, purpose is over, khali kiya. And you search for a new house. And searching the new house and getting is called rebirth. Another one. So whether people accept rebirth or not, that's an immaterial thing. Everyone is born means it is a rebirth only. Every birth is a rebirth only. Because the simple logic is that without a cause there is no effect. And you cannot say parents themselves are the cause. I told you that. Parents are only incidental cause. They are not absolute cause. If parents are the cause alone, then everybody must get child. Everybody must get child. But you find there are parents who don't get children. So hence we cannot say the parents are the only sole cause. They are not. That is why there is another particular cause which is very special. And that cause is what we call karma, sat karma. Unless the karma is there, the person doesn't come into being. That too in a given person at a given situation. Everything who decides? That karma decides. That's why you are there. Your karma decides to enter a particular place. And that is how the whole birth is going on. So by that we decide, our Shastra says, there is particularly. That's why our Shastra logically tells, if the karma were not there, then for doing nothing you will start suffering. Even now you say, I don't know what I did, why I am suffering, I don't know. Many times you say, is it or not? That means that for no reason somebody is giving you problems. So that's why without reason you cannot have. Is it or not? There must be some reason. For no reason there cannot be fever. If nothing is there, you say virus fever. That's all. Some virus is there. That's why the fever is there. Otherwise some other reason fever can be there. Like that, without cause there cannot be an effect manifesting. That's a simple logic. Hence our Shastra says, if there is a birth, there must have been a past. That's why we say, one seed is there means tree must have been there. And if the tree is there, there must have been seed. Like that, if you are here, there must be a past for you. And if you are present now, you will be the cause for the future also. So in this there is no doubt about it. So the one which is the seed potentially that goes and comes is you. So our Shastra says, how do you come down? So that is why they say you enter through the food. That's all the analysis our Shastra has got. And how do you come down? You come through the rain. Our Upanishad says, every jiva goes up and they have to come through the rain back, and they enter Mother Earth and they join with the plants and particularly food, and having joined with the food they enter the father and mother, and they potentially become the seed. From childhood onwards they start eating, gradually potentially seed starts forming, and a particular time, when the time comes, they get conceived and the birth starts. This is the process our Shastra tells about the birth also. That is why you see the simple test is our Shastra says, a seed, you look at it, you don't see the part of the tree in it. Do you see? You dissect it and put it under a microscope. Will you see any part of the tree in the seed? Upanishad talks about it. But because you don't see, you cannot say it is not there. And they give the example of what? They give the example of this particularly, the whole varieties of this particularly, the religiosa, ficus tree, like your anjeer and other things, those variety. And in that ashwatha vriksha, that seed, have you seen the anjeer also? How small. They say in this small seed, how much of power is there? Such a big tree called ashwatha can come. Whole thing, their atomic thing like that, it is so small. But if you dissect it and put it, you cannot see the power. But give the time for it to manifest, it proves I have got. Like that in the seed of the human sperm, the whole thing is potentially there. That's why the moment you allow it to particularly have the time, whatever the condition required, it proves I am a seed. From there it comes. So in that only all the potential things are there available. So gradually everything will start to come. This is how the Shastra tells that particularly. So hence this is the important thing called Sukshma Sarira. Now, having explained this much, so it's called Sadhanam means what? Instrument. Otherwise we call it as Karanam. Another word we call it called Karanam. This itself is going to be called later called Antakaranam. You would have heard particularly. We have got two. Bahya Karana, Antakarana. Bahya means external. These eyes, all these things, fleshy things you see, they are called Bahya, or hands and legs, so many things. The inner equipment is that. Another thing is, the Sukshma Shariram is the center. The nerve centers according to our Shastra. One Upanishad says, how many nerve centers are there? Some 72,000 or something. So many nerves are in this body. They are counted and kept. In the Upanishad they say. And out of these nerves there are some special nerves. They are 101. Like that they have mentioned in that. So all these nerve centers are centered where? They are all centered in this particular thing called Sukshma Shariram. You call it brain. That's a brain damage creates particularly paralytic. According to our this thing science, brain cells and brain things, there is paralysis. According to our Shastra, the Sukshma Shariram where the nerve center is there, that center gets disconnected. That is why function stops. The life is there, the function which made it everything, that goes. So again you may say it can be revived. If the damage is not so much, you can revive it. So there is where the particular whole things are centered there. So it is a functionary. In that functionary, the energy is called particularly thing like a motor or any equipment, electricity is there, because of every part of it starts functioning. This is the connection between Sukshma Shariram and Atma. So what should be clearly understood? Atma is not Sukshma Shariram, please. Okay, I hope these things are clear to you. Atma is not Sukshma Shariram. But like charcoal is not fire. But unless charcoal is there, fire cannot glow. Or any type of medium you require. Similarly, this Sukshma Shariram is like a charcoal. In this charcoal like thing called Sukshma Shariram, the fire like Atma gets manifested. While that particular thing gets completely consumed, the Sukshma Shariram doesn't totally get consumed, but it has got its own wear and tear. That's why every part which you see now, you will find they have got a best period, they also gets damaged, wear and tear also takes place. The gross body has got its own wear and tear, including the subtle parts also have got their own wear and tear. Why? Because they are made of matter. Anything made of matter will have their own wear and tear. But while they have got wear and tear, Atma does no wear and tear. Like even an equipment, electrical equipment, the parts are in your car, various spare parts. They all have wear and tear. In the electrical equipment, you cannot say electricity has got wear and tear. While in the presence of electricity, all things function and they have their wear and tear. In the car, in the presence of petrol, the car runs, all the parts have wear and tear, but petrol you cannot say has wear and tear. But petrol is a consumable item. We don't say no. Even electricity gets consumed. But Atma is such a thing which never gets consumed. That means what? If you are Atma, do you degenerate? You don't degenerate. That is what is called Nityam Satyam, we have seen before. That means all these conditions, what happens in the body, ups and downs, they are not at the level of you, the real called Atma. This is our moksha. Let anything go on in this body, it is not at the level of Atma. Understanding this itself is called moksha. Not you have to become free. You are free. That is the vision of our Shastra. You are free. And you have to understand it. At present you think all problems are for me. Everything is happening about my life. Because you equate you plus the equipments, body, everything. That's why the Vivekam was told, it is other than the three bodies. So the distinction is exactly like electricity, distinct from all equipments wherever it is. So the conditions of the equipments is not the condition of electricity. The condition of the car is not the condition of petrol. Same is the case here also. Condition of the equipments, anything that is there, all of them is not the condition of you, the Atma. But we being so much seeing ourselves not different from body, any condition there we attribute to ourselves. That is why it is called a Vivekam, I told you, like even separating milk from water. Like that you are the milk, the body is the water. Because which is more, why you have to put you as milk, which is more valuable, you pay price for what more? For milk only. That is why. So if you know water is more valuable, okay, put yourself in water. We have no objection. Whichever way. No problem about it. It is all your own way of looking at it. Is which we will deal with. But we are main important is what? The reality of you, by which only you get freedom. That means freedom, how do you get? Understanding your reality, give up the confusion, you are free next minute. That's all what is required. So thus, this is the thing that is talked about, that which is called as Sukshma Shariram. Further, now we will see. What are the constituent parts of the Sukshma Shariram that are being enumerated now? It contains 17 constituent factors. Totally. That's a Sapta Desha Kalabhi Saka Tishtati. Sapta Dasham means, so 17. Dasham 10, Sapta 7, 10 plus 7, 17. Kala means parts or constituent parts, factors, whichever way you want to say. Saha, along with that, remains. Tishtati, what is there is called Sukshma Shariram. What are they now? He tells you now. Pancha Jnana Indriyani. Pancha means 5. Jnana Indriyani, organs of perception. All of them. So we are going to next section, we see that, so I won't enumerate. So only numbers you want. 5 organs of perceptions. So Jnana Indriyani, why you call? They are instrumental in giving you knowledge. So that's a Bodha Indriyani. Jnanam, because of which, through which you get, they are the medias, hence they are called as Jnana Indriyani. Again, Pancha Karma Indriyani. 5 organs of action. Where actions are seen, where actions are there, responsible for action, those instruments, they are 5 in number. Then Pancha Pranadayaha, 5-folded physiological function is what is called in our Shastra called Prana. Prana is popularly known only respiration, but that alone is not. That is one. Over and above that, there are other function physiological, they are all at the level of this prana, and prana is another thing is called energy department. The whole body which gets energy is in the hands of this department called prana. They are a 5-folded function, that's a pancha prana deha. Now manascha ekam. That's it. Sometimes we say we are in 2 minds. No, you have got only 1 mind. You make it into 2. I was in 2 minds, you say. You split your mind and say 2 minds. But really, how many minds you have got? Only 1. So Shastra says manascha ekam, buddhischa eka, and you have got 1 buddhi also. So buddhischa eka, evam, in this manner, along with these 17 factors, that which remains is called Sukshma Shariram. This is in short all details about Sukshma Shariram. But what we have seen, are you any one of them? You are none of them. Since you are none of them, their good condition or bad condition, does it belong to you? You are free. So now you can understand what all problems we don't have. That means all psychological problems who has got? It is not yours. It is psychological problem, belong to the psychological function wherever it is. Again, if it is particularly mental, you call brain. Brain factor belongs to whom? To the brain only, not to you. Because if the brain factor is for you, you should be the brain. But you are not the brain. So similarly, all respiratory factors, whatever is there, it is not yours. It doesn't belong to you. Then again, whether it is anything related to ear, nose, throat or anything, you say, all these things doesn't belong to you. But at present, since everyone is equated to the body, all these problems are attributed to the person. The person. So that is why our Shastra doesn't compete with medical science. Understand itself. Our Shastra releases you from all problem by telling you, since you are not the body, those problems doesn't belong to you. But the body still has got problem, and for that only medical science is very much essential. Like even an engineer is to repair the equipment, not electricity. A motor mechanic is to repair the car, not petrol. Like that, you are all necessary to repair this body and related things, but not Atma. Because Atma is not available for all of them. It is not at all available. and that Atma is you. So the person who understands, in spite of problems at the level of body or anywhere, can always be free, telling this problem doesn't belong to me. This is the Shastra's freedom, modification, total freedom. Moksha is that only. So you are not to become free. So there is no becoming here. A state of being is what we are revealing. We reveal a state of being. You are. This is our vision of Shastra. Shastra says you are free, not you have to become free. So there is no becoming, it is not an event, it is not to happen, because even now when you say I have got problem, the reality is you are free from problem. That is the reality. Only thing is we don't know, hence we think we have got problem. That's the only thing. That's the purpose of this learning, we should clearly understand. Now having seen this, now we will go to particularly the next section particularly. So there is an enumeration of this Jnana Indriyani. He doesn't go to Karana Shariram. First particularly enumerates that, then proceeds to the next one. So we will see. Shrotram Tvak Chakshu Rasana Granamiti Pancha Jnanendriyani. Here there are devatas are there, we will leave it, I will come to that later. In the end of it you have got Shrotrasya Vishayaha Shabda Grahanam, Tvacho Vishayaha Sparsha Grahanam, Chakshushaha Vishayaha Rasa Rupa Grahanam, Rasanaya Vishayaha Rasagrahanam, Granasya Vishayaha Gandhagrahanam. So please bring your books, otherwise you will not know where what is. As a subject you are learning. So if you know, read the book, you will know where it is, what it is. So like that there are details are given. So it is good, you know, where really it is there later on if you want to see. So when you read, it will register. Otherwise it will not register. That's a method of learning. So better learn properly, so it will be good for you. That's why books I brought you wanted. Okay. Now what he says, he enumerates the 5 organs of perception. Shrotram means the particular organ of hearing. So ear, Shrotram, ear. Tvakyu means sense of touch, the skin. Skin means here you should know, it is the organ of feeling. Sense of touch is called skin there. It is not simple epidermis. That is not being talked here. In the epidermis level only, the sense of feeling, other called sense of touch is there. That is what is meant by tvak. Tvachaha means that is called as sense of touch where it is there. Then chakshuhu, the perception through eyes which you see, that particularly. So that which is called video, vision, you get particularly chakshuhu. Rasana, the taste at the level of the tongue. Granam, the sense of smell. So in this manner, Pancha Jnana Indriyani. These orders are very important. You should not mix up. The same order has to be maintained. That is why the Pancha is very important. There is a word called Prapancha. Generally, Prapancha is translated as Samsara sometimes. In Maharashtra, they call Prapancha means Samsara. In our Shastra, Prapancha means world. Prapancha stands for world. Why this world is called Prapancha? Because it is a pentamerous process of creation. Hence it is called Prapancha. Everything is 5, 5, 5. 5 elements, 5 sense organs, 5 prana, 5 organs of action. Everything is 5, 5, 5. Since everything in this 5 form, they are called Prapancha. That's why they are called Prapancha. Is everything five only. That is the reason why they are called prapancha. The name is given. So the prapancha means the world. And the world is what? World is always that which is experienced. You experience a world. There can be a public world, there can be a private world also. That's why in the public world, everyone lives a private world. Nobody lives in the public world. A public world means everybody should be equal. One fellow unhappy, everybody should be unhappy. That's why next door is happy, another door is next door is not unhappy. That's why each one is living in their own world. Nobody lives in the public world. So everybody has got their own world, which they create by their own thinking, by their own responses, varieties of things. And that private world you live is called prapancha, that is samsara. But this world is not samsara. This world is natural good thing. Sun is no problem, moon is no problem, air is no problem, fire is no problem. So prapancha, that is not samsara. The samsara is our private thinking becomes samsara. We convert the whole world into samsara by our own thinking, I tell you. That is why samsara nivritti is by knowing how I am free from everything. That is samsara nivritti. So that condition being there, that's why it is called as prapancha, because all five. And this order is very important, because you will see later on, we will see the five elements have direct relation to every one of them. So the order must be clear. 1, 2, 3, 4. You cannot mingle up particularly, jumble them up. It should not be. So that we remember. Now having enumerated, their functions are told. You all know, we have to just read and go. Shrotrasya vishayaha shabda grahanam. Here vishaya means their function. The ears function in the form of giving you audition particularly. So particularly you can listen to everything. That is the purpose of the organ here. So they don't say tympanum and other thing. That's all your job. They only simply tell you that this functions in the form of giving you the perception of sound. So perceiving sound, reception of sound is the function of shrotram. Tvachaha, this epidermis or the skin, at that level you have got what? Sense of touch. So field of experience for the skin is cognition of touch, like pain, heat, cold, that, this, 1,000 things, all of them at this level only. That's why if the skin gets burned, that sense goes away there. At that level the sense totally goes away, because that organ is completely destroyed at that level. So that goes. Again, that is why when there is paralytic attack, sometimes sensation goes by, the connection is gone. That's why no sensation, numbness completely, no feeling, everything, the connection goes. So that is why it is said there. So tvachaha vishayaha sparsha granam, it is not only outside, inside also. That's why when you take cold things, you can feel the cold inside. You take the particularly hot things, you can feel like outside or inside, both. It is both functioning, inside and outside, the feelings are there. Then chakshushaha vishayaha rupa grahanam. Rupam stands for shape, akara plus color. Both should be taken as rupam. Generally, rupam means only form. But your eyes are the only instrument through which you can see the colors. So rupam equally stands for colors also. That's why some people will say color blind. So the color you cannot distinguish means that is a function of the eyes only. So that's why it is two double folded, form as well as colors. Both are the perceiving, center is the eyes. That is the its job it does particularly. So rupa grahanam, you can say varna grahanam also. Both combined together is called rupa. So rasanayaha vishayaha is called rasagrahanam. Rasanaya, sense of taste. Taste buds. They always tells you the distinction between different tastes. They tell you. That's why if you take too hot things or you take particularly too much tuna, what happens? Those get killed. So afterwards no taste. Anything you put They don't. That's why people who keep on eating pan, they always want extra taste always. More salt, more thickered, everything more they want. Because they don't get the taste at all, because it's all dead, almost dead there. So they are there at the level of the tongue particularly. Rasa grahanam. Granasya vishayaha grantha grahanam. So the nose, they all got dual role to play. The tongue has got dual role, the nose has got dual role to play. There is also you have got the sense, particularly smell, plus it has got the respiration also, both goes there. Similarly, tongue not only is particular taste, speaking also it has to play a part. So dual role, it's a double function is there for that particularly. But here organ of perception means they are only giving that. They don't give the other thing particularly. So he is a gandha grahanam. So in this manner we have seen jnana indriyani. Now get into karma indriyani. Vakpani, padapayu, upasthaniti, panchakarmendriyani. Further, vacho vishayaha bhashanam, panyor vishayaha vastu grahanam, padayor vishayaha gamanam, vayor vishayaha malatyagaha, upastasya vishaya ananda iti. So what are the 5 organs of perception? Vak, pani, pada, payu, upastha. Vak means vocal organ through which the sound comes, the vocal cord or larynx, whatever you want to call it. That is said here vak indriya. It is an indriya because of which instrumental in bringing about the sound. That particularly is called vak indriya. Pani is your hand, not pani, the other pani. The pani, the hands are called pani. Pada, our feet or leg, mobility is because of that. Payu is your particularly excretory organ called malatyaga, that particular rectum or whatever you call it. Then upastha, procreatory organ, that is called as upastha. So thus the 5 particular organs of action, they are there. Now their particular function are being told. Vachaha vishayaha bhashanam, organ of speech. What is its job? To have the particularly the sound to come, and accordingly you speak, modulation of sound, everything that takes place. Panyor vishayaha vastu grahanam, hand is for always grasping, to lifting so many things, including holding pen onwards. Everything it is, the job is done by the hands particularly. Padayor vishayaha gamanam, the feet is meant to keep you mobile all the time, locomotion for that purpose. Payor vishayaha malatyagaha, so it is for malatyagam. As a matter of fact, the other one upastha also has got the malatyagam, because urine goes there from that only. Here only matter, fecal matter goes, the other one is also malam. That's another part of the malam called the urine. So it has got double function to play. Here all the thing, particular solid matter goes, there the liquid matter goes from there. So that is also dust. Then upastasya vishayaha ananda. Here ananda means when you have that particular procreation, there is a pleasure. That's why they call it ananda. It's a sense pleasure that is there. That is being told there, but in reality it is for progeny, to getting progeny only. It is not for pleasure. Though there is a pleasure, its main purpose is only to reproductive organ. It is main for that. So that is why initially it has got only, when up to a certain age, it has got only function of excretion of urine only. When the adulthood comes, only this procreative function becomes manifest there, then it is meant for procreation, and it is not for pleasure. The moment it becomes pleasure only, lot of problems starts. The specifically it is provided, it is just like a bell or a horn. If you have got a doorbell, you are specifically provided to call when somebody comes. But if somebody keeps on playing on that, it is useless. It is not good. Similarly, your horn in the car is to hoot whenever necessary on the traffic. But if you keep on hooting the horn, not only you will get mad, everybody will get mad about it. Similarly, the procreatory organ is only to be used whenever you want procreation. If not, in reality, it should not be used. But then it is a weakness, that is why people say how to control it. So if we know the purpose for which it is, and if we don't want, I don't think we should use it. That the simple control it should be, understanding. But wherever the control is not there, when we look at it as a pleasure, that's why there is a misuse comes, abuse comes, then it has got its own problems later. So now we don't want a problem. So that's why so many things are being done, understand itself. Varieties of things are required. Whether it is contraceptives or whether it is operations, so many things are going on because human beings don't have control. There is no control. That's why it is all going on. So naturally, when you cannot control, force is required. That's why all these things are being done in the world. Otherwise, what is required? Either use it or don't use it. That's all what is. But because it is looked as a pleasure, that is where the total. Similarly, the case with the food. Food is not a thing to be used as a occasion for pleasure. It is not an enjoyment. The moment it is enjoyment, people start indulging. And later on create problem. Basically, food is meant for nourishment to the body. If we don't understand that, we overeat and create a lot of problem afterwards. So if we know it is going to nourish only, you should take only nourishing amount. But then it doesn't happen. Why? Because it is more looked as a pleasure. That's a jihva lolupa. It is more for the taste. So here pleasure, later on problem here. Is it or not? When it goes here, it is all nice. Afterwards, some problem here. So one sugam, another dukkham. Same thing creates in life. This we should understand clearly, but then it is not easy. That is where the control and values are very much essential. Now, having talked that, we get into the next item, Karana Shariram. We will read that. Karana Shariram Kim Anirvachya Anadi Avidya Rupam Sharira Dvayasya Karana Matram Sat Swarupa Ajnanam Nirvikalpaka Rupam Yadasti Tat Karana Shariram. It's a little particular confusing. You have got to be a little attentive here. In reality, there is no separate body here, three or anything. From a standpoint, we are splitting them and making into three for a purpose only. Now, Karanam means what? Cause. Karana Sharira means that which is causal. That's why it's called causal body. Because it is the thing which causes the other thing to come. So it has been given a special status as Karana Shariram. Karanam Hetu. It is the Hetu for everything. So hence, what is this Hetu to say? They make it as a body, and another thing, this thing is to be related to the other things later on coming. That's why they have separated it separately. But where is Karana Shariram sitting? It is again in Sukshma Shariram only. It is not separate, but from a functional standpoint, we have to separate and say, and we say that's why Karana Shariram is said. What is it now? We will see. Its Swarupam is what he says, Avidya Rupam. It is in the nature of avidya, means ignorance born confusion. As I told you before, mere ignorance doesn't create any problem. Ignorance is bliss. So ignorance should not pose any problem. That's why avidya means what? Misunderstandings and confusion is what is called avidya. Vidya means knowledge. Can you call misunderstanding, erroneous understanding as knowledge? Till you don't understand it is error, you may call it knowledge. I know, you will say. When proved wrong, it is no more knowledge. Like a student writing an answer to a question, thinking I have written rightly, but the examiner says this is all wrong, no mark. So it is vidya or avidya now? It is avidya. Because avidya and ignorance are almost same. If you totally don't know, don't answer, you don't get any mark. You write wrong answer also, what happens? No mark. That's a wrong answer which you consider as knowledge, that is also not knowledge. Equally, ignorance also is not knowledge. That's why it is both are called as avidya. Yatina vidya tad avidya. That which cannot be called as vidya is avidya. Again, where there is no vidya, that is also called as avidya. Where ignorance is there, there is no knowledge. Because knowledge and ignorance cannot coexist. Like light and darkness cannot coexist, knowledge and darkness cannot coexist. Why we have to say that? If you simply translate avidya as ignorance, somebody can raise this objection. Ignorance should not create any problem. Then what is the problem? Not knowing the reality, but at the same time having a wrong opinion about that is the problem. That is what you call misunderstanding, erroneous knowledge. That is what is called here, called avidya. Otherwise, this avidya, otherwise we will call it later another terminology called moha. Moham is called as confusion, delusion. They are all product of this only. Hence, in the form of avidya means what? Avidya means misunderstanding, erroneous knowledge, confusion, which is the product of that ignorance. Non-recognition of the reality, at the same time having a erroneous opinion. That is what is referred avidya rupam. So whose rupam is avidya rupam? Karana shariram. Of what form it is? In the form of confusion backed by ignorance. Okay. Now this ignorance itself, its surupam further is told, that is earlier. It is called anirvachya. Vachya means which can be categorically defined, categorized, classified, specified. That is all called vachyam. Vachyam means definable, classifiable. They are all called vachyam because you can use a word and specify that. Anirvachya means it is not available. Why you cannot say that? Because this ignorance is such that you cannot say it is or it is not. Because when do you come to know about ignorance? Only when you become conscious. Otherwise you don't know whether it is there or not. So it is there sometimes, and sometimes it is not there. And here the ignorance which we are talking is not any specific ignorance. It is a blanket ignorance. Totally blanket ignorance. That is, it is called anirvachyam. But when it becomes a causal in creating, when it becomes a specific ignorance of the reality of oneself, it becomes vachyam when it is related to Atma. Till such time it is a simple blanket ignorance, not definable. So when you say anirvachyam, basic thing is you cannot say it is or it is not. You cannot say it is not because it creates, like a virus, you cannot say it is there or it is not. When can you say where is? When you start creating problem, the presence of virus becomes evident. As long as it doesn't create any problem, what is the nature of the virus? You cannot say it is there or it is not. The moment it start creating, it is still there. So like that, virus is vachim or anirvachyam. That is why it is. You cannot say it is or it is not. That's called anirvachya. So like that, ignorance also, you cannot say it is not. It becomes a presence known when the problem starts. You say ignorance is still there. When there is no problem, you say ignorance is not there. So we cannot categorically say that. Non-category, particularly, you cannot do that. That is what is the meaning called anirvachya. In your book it is written inexplicable. That explicability being not there is what is called there, but anirvachyam. And it is called anadi. Adi means beginning, origin, starting. Anadi means which has no beginning. It is beginningless. It's a very important thing to understand. Can you say when ignorance begins? If at all we want to say at a point A, time point A, this ignorance begins, we have to say prior to ignorance what was there? You have to say knowledge was there. Can you say knowledge goes and ignorance comes? That is a problem. That's why nobody can say ignorance begins. Let it be any ignorance. I don't know, some of you maybe generally this is my stock question I ask to prove this particularly. To say that particularly, Creole, do you know what is Creole? Somebody may be knowing. What is Creole? Good, nobody knows, I am glad. So Creole is a language in Mauritius. In Mauritius the language is called Creole. They speak the language is called Creole. Now you say you don't know. When did this ignorance start? Can you say just now it started? If you say it started now, then prior to that did you know it or what? That means this ignorance was there all the time. Only thing is now it becomes very evident that, I have got ignorance of clear also. There are like that so many ignorances lying there which we don't know. At a particular time that becomes manifested, this is also one ignorance area I have got. Like that so many areas we are ignorant, I tell you, in our life. But they are all there from time immemorial. You cannot say on this particular time, at this date, at this time it started, nobody can say. That is what is called anadi. It is beginningless. That is the meaning called anadi. I hope it's clear. That is the meaning called, nobody can say at this time it started. That means it has been there. And its presence becomes evident to you the moment you become conscious of it. It becomes evident, it is there. That is also there. That's why when somebody asks a question only, you remember, understand, this area also I am ignorant. Previously I never thought of it. When somebody asks a question, this I don't know. I never thought about it. Then you try to get a knowledge of it and remove that ignorance. That's what we generally do in our life. But always what is our blanket? That's why when we are all born, how do we come? That's why they say Kora Kagas. Everyone comes Kora Kagas. Nobody knows anything. Even we don't know who is our father and mother, is it or not? When a child is born, what does the child know? Who is father, who is mother? Nothing the child knows. That's why we are all clean. And slowly, one by one, letters are started written. You start teaching the child, papa, mummy, everything, one by one written. Then gradually so many things are written. There's a Kora Kagas gets written, it gets full. This is what is happening in our buddhi also. So ignorance, there are various areas blank, but there are many things are written like a tape recorder or anything where recording take place, but many other areas are blank. So that is the condition in our buddhi also, where there is ignorance is present there all the time. We all come with the capital of that only. Everybody's capital is ignorance only. We come totally blank at ignorance. Gradually we shed them by gaining some knowledge here and there, everything that is there. But plenty of areas still in the world we don't know. That is still there. So that is what is called anadi. Anadi means that is no beginning. Nobody can say when it started. That is called anadi. That is why we say also, people generally ask, when did this particular jiva bhavam, my birth started? Understand? This is another thing. That's why generally they ask, can you say seed first or tree first? They say chick first or particularly egg first. These are all the questions they ask. When you can say that, we will tell you when you started first. That is why the jivatvam also, our particular birth and all, when it started, if you specifically wants to know, that is the answer, anadi. Nobody knows. It has been there and it is still continuing. We are only trying to tell you how to stop it, if at all you want. This is our family planning, not the present family planning. Our family planning is, you understand your Atma, the birth is stopped. Finish the matter. So that is our particular way of doing that. But as long as you think your body, you cannot stop the particular birth, you will continue to come and go. This is what we must clearly understand. That is why he says now. Now having talked its basic rupam, now its karanam, what is causal for? What does it cause? That is being. It is karana matram. It is simple cause for what? Sarira dvayasya. Dvayam means two. Shariram, bodies. For the two bodies. Now you can understand which are the two bodies. The Sukshmam and Sthula Shariram. Like from the seed only comes the stem, then the leaf, so many things starts coming. So the basic cause is the seed, including the root down, anything, everything is one cause called the seed. Similarly, from this karanam, ignorance only comes, which becomes the cause for the sthula shariram and the sukshma shariram to be present. That's a sharira dvayasya karana matram. Its karanam is only for that. Matram means it is causal for these two things alone, nothing else. Karana matram. And now further he says, what is further? The ajnanam, it has got avidya, sat swarupa ajnanam. Sat swarupa means your real reality, you don't know. Later on, this particular thing will be connected to a state which we go through every day called sleep. That's why when somebody is sleeping, do they know their reality? They know nothing. That's why then at that time what is their total ignorance. Though you may be a great, particularly wise person, intelligent, so many things, but the time of sleeping all intelligence is nil. You don't know where you are, who you are, what is, and nothing you know. So that is why there also relatively Satswarupa Ajnanam you don't know. And when this Ajnanam is there also absolute reality Atma Swarupam is also not known. That is why it is the cause for the birth and everything that is there. That is why it is called Sat Swarup Ajnanam. Again, it is Nirvikalpaka Rupam. Vikalpa can be particularly told what type of ignorance. Vikalpa to categorize ignorance. Ignorance about this, ignorance about that, ignorance about this, so many things that is there, because while sleeping what ignorance you have got? It is a blanket ignorance. It is a blanket ignorance. It is not a specific ignorance. That is called Nirvikalpaka Rupam. No Vikalpa. Nothing specifying is not there in that. That is called Nirvikalpaka Rupam. Yadasti. Whatever is there in this manner, Tat. That is called as Karana Shariram. This is what is called as Karana Shariram. That means now this Karana Shariram is the thing which is instrumental for that. That is why what should be removed now? If these two bodies are not to come, who should go? For any effect not to come, you are all people. If the disease should not come, who should be attacked? The virus should be attacked. So what is the virus for catching this particular, bringing all these things is Karanam. And what is the Karanam here? Ajnanam. So if Ajnanam, confusion is the cause, we saw what is the remedy? Only knowledge. Anything else than that, it will not. That's why you always say, if there is some problem, applying balm, will it remove external particularly, or that which is called as symptomatic treatment doesn't remove the disease? When the disease will go, only when you treat the cause. That is why all that we do in our life is only symptomatic treatment. What we are doing in our life, understand itself. With reference to our samsara we are talking. That is all we do, like all the particular pastimes and pleasures and this and that, so many things we do. All of them only symptomatic treatment. That's why what is symptomatic treatment? Temporarily goes, again comes back. That's why our sukha dukkham also, what happens, our problems. When you did something temporarily, I become happy. Later on what comes back? Again the same thing comes back. After some time you do something that went away, again comes back. This is what is happening. Why? Because we are not treating the cause. So if at all we want a permanent remedy, we should treat the cause. And that is what Shastra is telling you. So if you treat the cause, you will find who will be free from problems? You will be free from problems. Not the body, not the body. The body will have problem because body's nature is to have problem. So many viruses are there. Ajnanam doesn't cause virus. So Ajnanam has got its own method of creating problem, and we are only talking about that problem, and to remove that, the direct injection or medicine or surgery, anything you want to call, is only knowledge. And that is the knowledge. That's why we have seen all other knowledges are knowledge. They can remove only that ignorance. And here is a specific area of ignorance called you, and that ignorance can be removed only the knowledge of you. Until such time that comes, you can continue with the ignorance. So if you can remove that, you can be free from the virus born, the samsara rogam. This is what is called bhava roga. Samsara roga, bhava roga. You can become free from that. So what is the medicine for bhava roga? Jnanam aushadam. And who is the doctor? Guru doctor. Understand itself? There is no other doctor. This is the whole thing that is there. So we are also in the field like you doctors, but our area is totally different. Your area is totally different. While you deal with the body, we deal with you. There is only two areas totally different. So we are both in the same profession, but in a different way. Understand? That's all we should know. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayah, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.